speak after Dr. Case and Dr. Freud, and speak before, after the Dr. Hertz, and before many distinguished speakers this afternoon and afternoon. I feel a little bit of complex feeling, so I try to find some picture to express my feeling now. So I guess that's there's giants there, and then there's me here. So take picture of selfie. So my talk is divided into two parts. Basically introduce the apodactic and the child development. Let's introduce this part. The second part will be discuss the phenomenological cases. So let me start asking you a question. If you think about hear the words, or see the words of apodactic, what is your image in your mind? Well, someone probably will know this is a kind of last night Super Bowl. A lot of people using their cell phone. It's become ocean cell phone, and also take a selfie with Timberlake. I go to the Google and search the image of apodactics. And then, first one, of course, that's the classical work of this chapter. Second one actually is 2009, the Economics put a very well circulated article about this apodactics. People know about that. And then this is from some Turkish scholar compared with 2005 versus 2016 in terms of social gazetting in Turkey. Then actually apodactics actually is related to some kind of rock and roll concert. Of course, you can also see this kind of imagery in the Google of the book by Jim and also Ford. Of course, the last one is of today, the image of today's meeting. If from the perspective of psychology, and the apodactic sometimes probably is related to some kind of process of personalization, conversation, internalization or socialization, those kind of psychology process. So when people form this kind of apodactic, and then they will have the perceptual context, and then they will leading towards a social context. So that's probably the psychological people in mind in terms of that kind of concept. And then what is the developmental psychology? And I'm one of them. But when we hear or see this term, what is the mental image in our mind? We probably see this kind of kids interact with the TV, or the kids interact with the personal computer, or the kids interact with mobile phone. So the question now here is, how do we know the genesis of apodactic? How did the apodactic start? If you can think about some words, what would that be? Are they any different, as some people mentioned about the children using phone and the adult using the phone? So what I do is to try to present a few studies, and using this few study as a phenomenological case to see, to describe, to interpret this important concept. So normally this one way is to look at the natural phenomena, and then we use the naked eye to describe it and interpret it. But also, we just published one special session of child development related to how children using mobile phone, among 400 scholars involved in this project. We still can use this kind of study as a psychological or scientific phenomenon, and then we can use a different device to look at the study them, describe them, and try to interpret them. So I'm going to pick two articles. Totally there's 14 articles. 2 articles to describe or interpret what this very important concept put out by 2 distinct scholars in 2002. The first one is a study from the Georgetown University. So what the study do is they study the students, kids, infants, about 2 years old. How they are remotely contact with their grandma via different kind of video chat, such as Skype, FaceTime, or Google Hangouts. So what they're using is naturally observing them and then record 25 families, about 25 videos in 2014. And then they focus on the concept in psychology is called joint visual attention. That is a big deal for the child development, is that the children need to be able to draw another person's attention to the third object. That's require cognitive and social ability. It will not merge immediately. So here is the picture here. For example, the first one is a baby using the cell phone and then talk to the phone, the Sky Media, the grandma, another end of remotely, and then show at the top actually the airplane model. Shows it, grandma, here is my airplane model. Another picture over there here is the kids. They try to show grandma, actually they have a model. Show grandma the block house he built. So therefore, there's a joint visual interaction between the grandma and the kids. But the things get a little more complicated here is that there's 2 different kinds of joint visual attention. The first one is called within screen joint visual attention. That you are using one phone and within the phone and talk. So that's within. And the second one actually is one you talk. The joint visual attention actually is a cross screen. So you involve 2 screens and then try to make sense of it. So those are the study designed to study how whether infant can use this kind of video chat with their grandma remotely. So here's the result. So the results show this is a month, 5 months until 25 months. So we talk about is 2 years old, and from the very early to the 2 years old. So among the 25 talks, there's about 5 talks. Actually, there's no interaction. There's no initiation in terms of joint visual attack. Never show grandma see this or look at that. So that's you can see is take place around 1 year old. No initiation. So clearly kids will not be able to know how to use that. And then the second is about 15 kind of a talk among the infant and the grandparents. The kids can initiate this joint within screen joint visual attention. Then after that, right after about 15 months, so then there's another kind of a high level of the joint visual attention emerge. It's called cross-screen joint visual attention. So what does this tell us, this empirical evidence? We probably can think about that way. Number one is that there's a technology coming and go. They are changing consistently. So here we specifically talk about the mobile chat. And then there's the kids. Their mind is not totally mature, 100%. So they start learning. Their mind is growing. So for example, here is specifically related to joint social attention. So when these 2 technology and mind working together, perceptually contact together, then they will have this kind of activity, chatting. That chatting will lead into the social cognitive development. Then produce two possible outcomes. One, if kids will not be able to achieve this activity, they will not realize their social and cognitive development. So the negative one will go back to group their mind. And then come again, if you fail again, group their mind. So that probably will describe the bottom data. Then if the kids success, the result is success, then kids will go back to learn a little more feature of technology, a little more feature of technology. So this whole process is a very dynamic, and also it's like a rolling snowball. Starting from maybe from nowhere, and eventually go this two process eventually achieve this apparatus. Second example. This one is a little bit older kids. It's about the child rather than infant. So the scholars from Michigan University designed a very smart kind of design. They run a 3 experience. So they are demonstrate that children and adults different, not only qualitatively, but also quantitatively in terms of the judging the mobile phone, the privacy, when they're using GPS. So the design is this. As you can see the result here. So the first part is that they ask kids to show kids it's owned by yourself or owned by others. Then the result here is ask them to say whether they are -5 or +5, indicating whether how okay or not okay, the degree of that. So the beginning, when children, there's two situations here, condition. One is ask them, say, is it okay when people track you? Another one is in the mobile device. Another one is ask them to say, is it okay I place the one object to another one? Move the object without your permission, move one to another. So the result indicating in the mobile situation, it doesn't matter self or others, the kids say, okay, it's fine. In the mobile situation, move the one thing, for example, one app to another place in the mobile situation, it's fine. But for the adult, the self, if you own this, it's okay. But if it's not owned by yourself, therefore, there's a very strong rejection from adults. Then, in terms of the place, the object in the natural environment, kids indicating it's okay if owned by yourself, but it's not okay if owned by others. This is very similar with adults. So then the third experience continue explore the issue is when at what time kids are starting to know the difference. So now you can see 4 year, 5 years, 6 to 7 year, and then 8 to 10 year, compare with adults. So very consistently from a 4 year to 8 year, if you ask the kids, is it okay if you own this or if you don't own this, and in the mobile situation, and then kids say, if you track me, it's okay. And then 5 years, it's okay, you track me in the mobile phone. And then until 10 years, kids still thinking it's okay to track them. Of course, the difference, there's less agreement when they're getting old. However, for the adults, again, if you own by yourself, it's related to yourself, then you can track. For example, other people track using your mobile phone. But it's not okay if others use the other phone to track you without your permission. So this kind of study will be very, very leading to the very, very important consequence is that how to understand mobile privacy, which is quite new among children and adults. So privacy, mobile security, all those kind of important issues here, and clearly there's a difference among the two group of people. So the question back here is how did it happen? So here is using this concept of apparatus kind of concept. Consider this as a process, psychological process. So you can see here the changing technology. Here we talk about another new elements of technology, which is mobile GPS. And then in terms of the children's mind, then it's specifically dealing with the judgment of the mobile privacy. Then if they go through this contextual context, then they will have a chance to judge the tracking your or other people's perception in a mobile situation. That will lead into their moral and cognitive development. If kids fail, as we see here from here, they will continue to grow in their mind, and then go back again and continue growing mind, even until 10 years old. Kids still have the challenging in terms of understanding, make a good judgment in terms of mobile privacy. If they success, then probably they move to another technical feature of it. So those are the two examples of how children, infants or children using mobile phone in terms of how this kind of important concept of apparatus concept emerged. So the understanding from the development perspective of these apparatus is probably quite important. Starting how things start. You know the Darwin story, how humans start, how humans evolve. And also Piaget is considered to be developmental psychology one of the best. And then studying how non-human knowledge evolved. Now today, we study how apparatus, the concept, the scalability, the reasoning process start. So probably we will have this kind of intuitive understanding that this kind of apparatus concept or system actually is not very simple. It's very complex. I mentioned about it's different layers. It's set up with the general theoretic framework. When we get into the real situation, then you need to apply to the different contexts. So the system is very complex. It's listed involves two complex systems. Complex system of mind, human mind, and a complex system of the technology, emerging technology, especially related to kids. And also this concept is also related to dynamic process. It's not a step. It's not today and tomorrow. It's a process. Even for adults. Society come and go, adults grew up. For example, one of the questions would be how the technology, some new technology died, and people stop using. Then what that means, philosophically, psychology, and everyday life. And also, this process also involves the development from the very beginning birth to the whole process until the death. So that's the introduction of my work. So I hope that I will give some material and then for us to discuss this genesis of the apparatus. This is a very important concept advanced in 2002, 16 years ago. Okay.
Thank you very much, Zheng. We do have some time for questions.
Hi, thank you very much for this fascinating talk. I had a few questions which are more understanding question, clarification question. First, on your first case, I was wondering if I remember well, joint attention appears between the first and the second year of life, more or less. Is that right? I mean, without screens. The usual joint attention in kids appears more or less between the first and the second year of life, if I remember well. Is that the case? When it's not without screens, the
regular.
Yeah, the standard.
Joint visual attention, I cannot remember exactly, but it's about 1 year old.
Yeah.
One example is the kids see the mirror. The self-concept of mirror is around 1 year old. Of course, there's individual difference.
But when you're pointing, for instance, an object, to show
Yeah, for example, if you see mirror, kids see mirror, if there's a note, very famous note, then people, 1 year old, people will try to touch the screen, but mirror rather than touch the
But joint attention with another one, for instance, if the parent is pointing towards something and the child would look, this is maybe a bit later, is it?
It's a little bit later, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's more, is it, there isn't a huge difference with the screens actually, it's more or less the same process, right? Is there, my question would be, is there a difference when you introduce the screen in joint attention as when there is no screen?
There is a
Because
practice,
from your data, it's
before the talk, they have a practice
Mhm.
session
Mhm.
to let them to practice
Mhm.
using technology, using kids. And when everything's ready, then record start.
Okay, so the screens don't introduce any difference, right? Or that's-
Of course, I think the screen definitely introduce something.
Okay, so what would it introduce? This would be my question.
Okay, data here does not compare the
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life
it was a-
visual attention versus virtual visual attention.
Yeah. and-
That's the result, that does not address that issue. If we address that issue, we need to have cross-sectional design section design to compare the results.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And may I just ask a second very quick
That's very
question? I was wondering on your second case, if there is a difference between cultures. For instance, I know that in Japan, as kids often go alone to school, there would be trackers in the backpacks, and people would think that this is normal. So I was wondering whether there would be a difference between cultures or not.
As the first one, very, very important question. This data does not address that cross-cultural difference. This is one of the first study, the mobile privacy judgment. It will be fascinating to design the study to analyze the cross-cultural difference. I suspect they like it. Of course, I would not think there's a dramatic change. For example, kids the pattern would disappear. Probably there's a quantitative difference, even earlier or later. And also, after 10 years, if we ask kids again, their perception about mobile privacy will be much, much sophisticated. But right now, this is just emerging. Therefore, so that's probably will be the current the assessment.
Thank you very much.
These are the two very, very good questions related to the future study.
Thank you, Vanessa. Angelique?
Well, thank you very much indeed for this fascinating talk. My question concerned as well the cultural aspect, so you have somehow answered it. But I was thinking that perhaps what you call the moral evolution or something like that, I saw.
More on the cognition development.
Yes, the moral development. It would be some kind of opening to this cultural parameter that we did not see up to now. But, well, actually, he has asked the question, so.
That's again, this is a very great question. And of course, data does not show that.
Yeah.
And moral value is a very close title with different culture, different society.
Of course, yes, because at 5 or 6 years old, kids are already impregnated by cultural models. So, I mean, what they see and what they do depends on the context in which they evolve. So it seems to be a rather important factor to consider at some point, the way they get images from around the world.
Yes. This is related to my previous study related to how children and adults understand internet. Internet as a concept, a complex emerging thing 10 years ago. So the result by a multiple result study, the result indicating that the children does not substantially differ from the adult in terms of understanding the internet, concept internet. For example, if you ask adults what do you mean by internet, probably adults will say at that time will say internet is a network, but actually internet is a network of networks. So therefore, the adolescent and the adult, there's no substantial difference between their understanding of internet. The explanation is that because the internet is new, so everyone's starting the starting point at the same time, rather than adult have the advantage. For example, if we talk about time, weight, those kind of existing concept, adult definitely is a teacher, much more knowledgeable. But in terms of the technology, especially new concept, there's a famous phenomenon called teenager guru phenomenon. Is that any given family, teenager is the most knowledgeable in terms of using computer technology. So that's also indicating something that is related to if you study moral aspect, cognitive aspect, physical aspect, for example, whether you can use mobile phone, those will be leading to a very complex process. And we don't have a lot of data to tell, but those are very, very thoughtful further study about that.
I have questions. Alongside, I was interested in both of those questions. They occurred to me as well. Are there earlier studies on telephones and other pieces of technology that would shed light on joint attention? Do people study children talking to their grandparents or hearing tape recordings of their grandparents? My grandparents used to send us tape recordings once a month when I was a child. Is any of this altered? Do you sense that maybe the screen phenomenon and mobile technology is quickening somehow or augmenting capacities in a different way?
Well, no wonder this is a wonderful situation. The question asked is always push the study to further, because this is the first study, first group of study happened around 2 or 3 years in the world. So therefore, those questions you ask is a cross-media comparison. There's no data. At least I don't know. However, I do feel there is a slightly different in terms of different media, in terms of this kind of concept. So for example, we can think about at least the physical distance between TV and the kids. The distance is about 1 or 2 meters.
Right.
And between PC, personal computer, we think this is a personal device, but still it's about 1 meter, a half meter away. But for the mobile phone, the physical distance, we don't talk about social contact. Physical distance is very, very close, embedded in this kind of concept together. So that's why, for example, there's specific effects. It's not happening in a TV or phone. For example, most famous, the 2 studies most well-known, starting early and most productive. One is whether the mobile phone will leading towards brain cancer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is about a 5,000 empirical study article, starting 1991 until now. Still debating.
Still debated, but
Still
there are
debated.
still people who are wondering.
Yeah, there's 2 groups of people. There's 500 people in Europe. They signed a petition saying we should ban the mobile phone because mobile phone leading to the brain cancer. But another major group of people, including Oxford University scholars, say it's not true.
Wow.
Because this issue is very complex and also very dynamic. 10 years ago versus 9 now or half years ago, that's different. Another major research into mobile phone behavior is text while driving. You know, this kind of thing will not occur in this kind of technology, but occur very, very early, right now still very productive in terms of that close. So that's kind of concept that capture that kind of interaction between technology and mind, which never happened or hardly happened before. Of course, right now technology is embedded. So mobile phone can watch TV, mobile phone can use a PC, right? So the mobile phone actually is a very, very multiple, personal, powerful device, including many other features before. That also makes this study more complicated because technology, they're rolling snowball too, right? Yeah, cross-cultural, cross-age, and cross-media. Those are the very, very important research questions. We don't have the answer. At least I know.
Thank you very much. Jim.
Go on, somebody else has,
I have one, but,
please, Sarah.
okay. So I was wondering if there's been much research that you know about looking at the parental role and kind of what the dynamic is there. So if the parent's always on, like, is there some sort of interaction there when the parents are, modeling?
I'm not sure whether this is related to the effect of parenting on children media use. Right now, there's a famous movement nationwide. It's called Wait Until 8th Grade.
Yes.
You know that? So that's basically tell parents, they find 8 parents together, merge a group to pledge we will not give the phone to our kids until they are 8th grade. which is a beginning of the adolescence. There's some empirical reason why children 8th grade or 13. However, this national movement right now, we don't have an empirical study to support. Of course, probably study, data collection to study. But different parents definitely influence this children interaction between technology and then growing mind. That's related to the issue related to the context effect. Different country, different parent, family, different culture, what influence this children and the technology interaction, what influence adding the complexity of this concept, the wonderful major concept of the, I understand the interaction between technology and human.
So we have time for one more. Thank you for those comments, and I think I speak for myself, I'm very happy to have a developmental psychologist here to help us understand these questions. I'm wondering if you could expand on what there is either about the interactive conversational dimension or the visual dimension of a mobile phone that seems to invoke our evolutionary heritage in such a way that makes the use of the technology more compelling than previous technologies. So in other words, we know we have large portions of our brain reserved for optical perception and processing. We know that we're developed to imitate language that we hear and see when we're infants. We know that interaction is very important to our development as human beings. So these are all three factors that are magnified or revolutionized by the mobile phone, as you pointed out, compared to just a television, compelling though it is, compared to a newspaper, compared to face-to-face conversation that we've had, of course, for many thousands of years.
Well, that's another question.
Good research.
No. What I'm saying is that this question also is not only try to examine the cross-cultural, cross-media, cross-social context family, for example. This is related to cross-different channel in terms of the verbal, visual, audio. There's a different kind of communication channels there, and how this mobile will relate to this kind of children development or human development. Right now, there's one very strong line of research study multitasking. Every year, since last year, probably about 200 empirical studies come out. So that's also related to this kind of, if right now, mobile phone is a multimedia. It's not just one phone conversation or the visual or audio. So multitasking leading to two kind of attentional consequences. One is a plus, which is now we are used to multitasking. It's become our very early skill, survival skill even. But another one is leading towards, like a piecemeal of knowledge. We'll now be focused longer. We have to always go to different kind of activity. So the mobile phone is a two-sided kind of sword. We're leading to two different kind of consequences. Yeah, that's the thing I think about right now.
Do you have it? It's an unfair question that I'm going to ask you, but on balance, are you on the plus side personally from your reading of the literature, or are you on the minus side? Yes. I know there's evidence for both. Yes. Where do you yourself, Professor?
Yes. Last week I got a phone from NBC. One of the anchor actually sent his assistant asked me to say, what is your opinion? Yeah. So I asked them, if you see 10 birds on the tree, there's one bad guy coming, had a gun, kill one bird. The question is, how many birds remaining on the tree? How many?
Zero.
How about one? Because the dead bird stayed on the tree. How about two? The parents decide to stay with their dead bird. So the answer will be from 0 to 10, all possible, right? So the only correct answer is that depends. So in other words, for complex issue, we just cannot looking for one simple answer.
No.
The only thing is that for it doesn't matter parents or using, it really depends you, depends on your context, depends on the process, depends on media, depends on many other things. Otherwise, we don't need to sit here to discuss. The things are so complex, so enjoyable. Therefore, we need to have another 12 years to keep learning and study this theory. But I'd like to end my talk by Julie mentioned about a textbook using in a PhD program. In China, this book has been used as a textbook in China. It's in Chinese, but actually is a James talk, a famous article, a famous book about internations. Many people told me it's very, very useful. 2005, I think I emailed to James, say, we are introducing your study. Would you support us to translate it? You seriously support us. It's been 16 years. He has been supporting my project, at least 3 major book projects. So, thank you.